The club was still covered in debris from the damaged structure. The guests were safely outside, and the hall was almost empty. Filip stood between the intruder and the girls. His energy shield was slowly fading, but the new systems on his armor had just activated. The intruder noticed. "So you unlocked the technology?" Filip nodded. "I didn't want to use it. Because you know what it can do. That's why." The intruder laughed. "Then you'll die with your honor." He fired. This time, however, Filip didn't raise his shield. Instead, he disappeared. Frenni blinked in surprise. Where did he go? The intruder turned. Too late. Filip appeared right behind him. His technology was able to create a short spatial jump. Bang! An energy blast hit the intruder's armor. The enemy flew through several tables. What? Filip ran forward. This time he didn't back down. The two fighters exchanged shots and energy blasts. Each hit shook the hall. Bonfire watched the fight with her mouth open. Our guard must be some kind of super soldier. I'm starting to believe it too, Chiku replied. The intruder suddenly ejected several drones from his armor. The small flying machines headed straight for Filip. But Filip activated something no one had ever seen before. Several blue circles of light appeared around him. The drones stopped, and within a second they fell to the ground. Electronic interference, Filip explained. Your technology is old. The alien was getting desperate. That's not possible. It is. Suddenly, the boss's voice came from the radio. Filip, watch out behind you. The alien took advantage of the moment of inattention and rushed forward. But this time, Fex struck. She grabbed a metal bar from the rubble and threw it right under the alien's feet. The alien stumbled. Now, Filip didn't hesitate. He jumped into the air. All the energy cells on his armor lit up. And with a single, accurate shot, he hit the energy source on the enemy's back. Bzzzzzt. The alien's armor began to sparkle. Then it went out. The enemy fell to his knees. The duel ended. Silence fell in the hall. Filip slowly walked over to his defeated opponent. It's over. The alien stared at him for a few seconds. Then he lowered his head. Yes, this time. Without his functional armor, he no longer posed a threat. After a while, security forces arrived and took him away. When he disappeared, all the girls ran to Filip. Marie hugged him first. Are you okay? Yeah. Bonfire hugged him too. You threw yourself under the falling ceiling for us. That's what friends do. Frenni smiled. No, that's what heroes do. Filip blushed a little under his feathers. I'm still just a guard. The boss came to the whole group. He looked at the destroyed hall, then at Filip. Well, I guess I'll have to order new furniture. Everyone laughed. But you know what? The boss continued. The club is still standing. The girls are fine. And you saved a lot of people. Then he offered his hand. I'm glad you're part of our team, Filip. Filip shook his hand. After a long time, he felt like he had truly found his second home. But far away among the stars, someone was watching the footage of the battle. And when he saw Filip's technology, he said quietly, so he's really on Earth. And thus began a whole new adventure. Several days had passed since the fight with the intruder. The club had been repaired, new tables were in place, and not a trace of the damaged pillar remained. This time the evening was unusually quiet. No intruders, no camera outages, no falling ceilings. Filip sat in the security room, sipping hot tea. That's suspicious, he said. At that moment, Frenni walked in. What's suspicious? That nothing's happening today. Frenni laughed. Normal people would be happy. I'm used to dealing with disasters. Then relax. Filip leaned back in his chair. Maybe she was right. After a while, Bonfire, Chiku, Fexa, and Marie also crowded into the room. We're on break, Bonfire announced. And we're bored, Chiku added. That never boded well. Filip sighed. What should I be afraid of? Nothing, Marie smiled. We just have questions. Lots of questions, Fexa added. Filip already knew where this was going. In a few minutes, everyone was sitting around the table. So, Bonfire began. What's your planet like? Filip smiled a little. It's much colder than Earth. And do you have cities there? Yes. And flying cars. Too. And giant spaceships? Of course. Bonfire turned to the others. I knew it. For the next hour, Filip answered all sorts of questions. Some were reasonable, others less so. Do you have pizza on your planet? Chiku asked. No. That's sad. We have other food. But not pizza. No. I wouldn't want that there. Everyone laughed. Later in the evening, Soft music began to play in the hall. There were few guests, and the atmosphere was pleasant. Philip went on his regular rounds. When he returned, he found Marie sitting alone by the stage. Everything okay? Sure. She smiled. Just thinking. About what? Marie looked around the club. You know, when you came here, no one knew who you really were. That's true. And now I can't imagine you not being here. Philip paused for a moment. Then he smiled. I'm glad to hear that. They just sat for a while, listening to the music. No rush. No danger. No drama. For once, the evening was completely ordinary. And Philip discovered that perhaps he liked evenings like this the most. Because you don't always have to be a hero or Avali. Sometimes, just being among friends is enough. After a few quiet days, everything returned to normal at Frenni Nightclub. Philip was just finishing his evening rounds when he heard laughter from the main hall. As he got closer, he saw Bonfi, Chica, Fexa, Maria, and Frenni sitting around a table. There was a pile of photos in front of them. What are you doing? He asked. Frenni smiled. Reminiscing. What? Bonfi pulled out a photo. It was of the whole group at the club's grand opening. The different things we experienced together. Philip sat down. Marie noticed that he was looking at the photos a little sadly. What? Philip smiled a little. I just realized that I have almost no photos of myself. How come? I never stayed long in places I've been before. There was a moment of silence. Then Bonfi stood up. So we have to fix that. What? A family photo. A family photo. Philip was surprised. Oh, sure. Chiku nodded. You're part of the team, after all. In a few minutes, everyone was standing in front of the stage. The boss was holding the camera. So ready? Yeah. Philip stood in the middle of the group. Next to him were Frenni and the other girls. 3, 2, 1. Flash. The photo was done. Everyone was laughing as they looked at it. They looked happy in the picture. Even Philip. I'll keep this, he said quietly. Of course, Marie smiled. Later in the evening, the club was slowly closing. The guests were leaving and the lights were gradually dimming. Philip stayed on the roof of the building for a while. The stars were shining above the city. The stars had a special meaning for Avali. They reminded him of home. After a while, footsteps were heard behind him. It was Frenni. I thought I'd find you here. Philip smiled. I was just looking at the sky. Frenni leaned against the railing next to him. Do you miss it there? Philip thought for a moment. Sometimes yes. And do you ever want to go back? He looked down at the club building. Then he remembered everyone he had met there. The boss. For girls. For shared experiences. Finally, he smiled. Maybe someday. But not yet. Frenni nodded. I'm glad to hear that. For a few minutes, they just stared at the night sky in silence. The club below them was quiet. The city was asleep. And Philip felt that after all the adventures he had, he was exactly where he should be. A few days after the photo shoot, the club was quiet again. Philip was checking the security system when Bonfi burst into the room. Philip, yes. We want to see some Avali technology. Frenni, Chiku, Fex, and Marie also appeared behind Bonfi. Philip laughed. So you all agree? Yes, Frenni replied. And this time we won't let you escape. That sounds dangerous. Maybe for you. After a few minutes, Philip led them into a small technical room that he used as a workshop. On the table lay several strange devices. Blue glowing crystals, small drones, and several tools that none of them had ever seen. Wow, Marie gasped. Is all this yours? Yes. Chiku was examining the small flying robot. What does this do? It's a reconnaissance drone. Can I touch it? Careful. At that exact moment, the drone came to life. It took off. It circled the room and landed on Chiku's head. Everyone burst out laughing. Philip, Chiku protested. That wasn't my fault. It definitely was. Meanwhile, Bonfi had discovered another device. A small metal ball. And what is this? Philip turned pale. Bonfi, don't touch that. Too late. Bonfi pressed a button. The ball opened, and a small holographic creature resembling a space lizard jumped out of it. Beep. The creature started running around the room. Marie laughed. Fexa tried to catch it. Chiku was still fighting the drone, and Frenni was laughing so hard that she had to sit down. Philip covered his eyes. This is exactly what happens every time I show someone my technology. Finally, he managed to turn everything off. The room became quiet. The girls sat around the table and looked at the equipment. You know, Frenni said, I never thought I would one day sit with an alien and learn about his technology. And I never thought I would work as a security guard in a nightclub. Life is strange. Definitely. The evening continued in a relaxed atmosphere. No one fought. No one ran from the aliens. Nobody was saving the club. They were just friends spending time together. And Philip realized that these moments are often more valuable than all the great adventures. If anyone wants, I can write a sequel. Write in the comments.